Morning everybody, how are we all doing today? Well, welcome to the lockdown homework. Hope you're all surviving. It's tricky, isn't it? But the sun's shining outside today. Well, it is in Cheshire, so let's have a go. We're going to do some homework today. People have asked about the gel press, so I've got mine out ready. I'm going to be using the 4-inch circle. If you've got the 6-inch circle, by all means use that. If you've got one of the square ones, it's just use what you've got. As always, this homework is just to inspire you, to catch up with you. I do miss meeting up at our workshops, so this is just like our little workshop. Obviously, it's free. I'm not one of these people that's charging you for it. Times are hard. We all have to pull together, and it's just my little bit of inspiration. Hopefully coming into your home, and a bit like a workshop, but we haven't got coffee and cake. So, sorry Julie, do miss your cake, and Sheila, so all those that baked me that lovely cake, I can't wait to get back and eat it. See, getting excited just thinking about it. So, we're going to start off today. As I say, I've got the 4-inch circle, gel press, jelly plate, whatever you've got, the name really depends who makes it. So, you know what, we're not into politics, so we're just going to use what we've got. Put mine on my acrylic block because I find it easier that way. That's just something that I like to do. Now, I've got a piece of paper here, piece of card, because I'm going to use my clean up. I'm going to be using some ink today. Now, I've got colour box ink. Again, ladies and gentlemen have asked what the difference is. So with the colour box, the reason I'm using these on the gel press, they are a dye-based ink, so they're like your Distress inks, your oxide inks, your Adirondack inks. The difference with these is they've got a high pigment content and a low water content, so that just means that they don't bead as much on your gel press. If you have colour box and you have Distress ink, what I would suggest is do exactly the same and take a print with both, using the same technique, brayering it on, taking a print, and look at the difference. And that will help you see in your head the higher water content with the oxides and the Distress ink just means that it will bead a bit more, but this gives a lovely background effect. The colour box will just give you a smoother effect. So really, it depends what you're looking for, but use whatever ink you've got, please. You know, don't go, this isn't something that I want you to rummage and spend hours. Oh, unless you want to spend hours tidying your craft room, that is. It really is just to give us all some inspiration to start crafting. Even if you start and halfway through you go off on a tangent, that's fine. Let's just craft together. I mean, I often do that, don't I? What am I like at workshops? I'm forever going off on a tangent. So, I'm going to start with my blue. In my head, I've already got a sort of a plan, and I almost want some sky and some land. So I've chosen a blue and a green. Now, I think the blue is deep sea and the green is olive. But it really doesn't matter, any blue, any green. Now, I treated myself to a baby Billy Brayer, and I don't know if to just call him Baby Brayer. One lady did suggest Bobby, so I could have Billy and Bobby. So we shall see. Baby might just bring to mind a bit better. I don't know if I can remember Bobby. Turned my gel press to the side just because I want to come in at the top and I just want to go about halfway down. So that's fine for me. So onto my scrap of paper. And again, I'm just going to clean my brayer. Do you know what? This is going to be my free background and I'm just working it a few times. It's really good practice for getting used to the brayering. Clean it off on the copy of paper. Now I'm just going to turn that round because I find it easier working. I'm going to turn my gel press round again because I find it easy working right to left. I'm going to pick up some green now. And I must admit, for the 4-inch gel press, I have found this little baby brayer, Baby Billy, much easier to use. I'm just going to come in and I'm going to go over that edge. Although it means I've got a little bit of blue on my brayer, that doesn't matter. I just want to fuzzy that edge. If you leave a gap, it doesn't look right, in my opinion. So just try and go over that gap. And then back in with my copier paper and my card. And I'm just going to, as I say, I've got a little bit of blue there. But you know what? That doesn't matter. Clean my brayer, put him to one side. Now, what I'm going to do just before I put this to one side, this is going to be my freebie. just got my fan brush and some water, and I'm just going to flick some water on that and then put that to one side, let that activate, and that I'm going to stamp up at a later date and make that's my free background. So I will leave that, I'll put my brushes. Now what I've got here is a buddy cut palette. If you've got one, you'll know how fantastic these are. Very, very useful. It means you can mix brushes in water and leave them. The lids are secure, and that's really good, I find, for workshops. Perfect. I can carry them in the car, take them lots of places. Very secure lids. The amount, I do find most people put too much brusho powder in. When you're mixing it, I tend to just put enough brusho powder to cover the bottom of the palette, the little cup, and then fill it about 3/4 full with water, and that just is about the right consistency for me. Also, one of these little coffee stirrers from that favourite coffee spot that I can't visit at the minute, and again, can't wait to get back there. I just find that's useful to stir the brusho water mix. I'm going to take my fan brush, give it a bit of a twiddle just to check it's all mixed up, and I'm going to flick this, and I'm mainly, just bring us in shot a bit more, mainly going to flick that in the middle, just because in the middle is going to be where I'm going to be doing more of my stamping, so I want that sort of lighter. I don't want to distort it with too much colour. If you add too much colour, it doesn't show up as well when you've got the most gorgeous Lavinia stamps, which you're going to stamp on top. Now I've come into the turquoise colour now, and I'm just going round the edge more. Now, because it's the 4-inch, I don't want to add too much colour. If I was using the 6-inch, I'd probably go in for a 3rd, maybe even a 4th colour and mix it. But I have found with the smaller gel press, if I add too much colour, personally for me, I think it just almost takes over too much. And for me, I don't like it. So I'm just going to stick with these two. So what I'm going to do now is bring in my piece of card. Now for me, most people will take the card to the gel press. I just like to turn it round, and I find I can position it. As you can see, I can move it round and position it. Maybe we'll just go in the middle a little bit more, and just gonna decide, and I think we'll go for there and press it down. Also, I just like to watch this happen. It's just something I like to do. Just keeps me happy, these little things. And then give it a good press and lift off. Look at that. That's what we get. I just think that's such a lovely effect. Now, what I would do is just got to lean down here. I'm short for space today. Everything, I don't know about you ladies and gentlemen, but I have found this lockdown, I'm using everything, and I've got stuff everywhere, so I'm very short of space on my craft table today. We say us crafters work in our sort of a couple of millimetre space, don't we? You know, it's true, we really do. To clean your gel press, just pop it on copy paper. That's the best way to clean it. Don't use your wet wipes or anything on it. What this does mean though, you've actually got the shape of your gel press, and this is useful. We're going to cut that and use it as a mask later on. Or if you've already got a mask like me, I can stamp that up and use that as an insert. So again, lots of things to use that for. What I'm going to do is just quickly reach down. Just going to give this a bit of a dry with a heat gun. Just because obviously you want it dry to stamp on. We're going to use a VersaFine Clay, which is a permanent ink. But if the card and the brusho powder and the ink is too wet, your stamp won't stamp well. And then you'll be thinking it's something you've done. So I'm just giving that a quick, it does dry pretty quickly. But especially when we're doing it live, I want it to be right. Now, I'm going to get my copy of paper back and my magazine, just because for me, I find it easy stamping like that. You know what I'm like, I'm a bit of a weakling. Now, what we're going to use today, I've just got a couple of stamps, and again, I'm afraid I'm so busy at the minute, I'm just using what is on my craft desk. But again, that's a bit like at home. Sometimes we almost have too much choice, don't we? So sometimes it's good to actually use what you've got, and it gets your mind thinking, how am I going to put these together? What composition am I going to use? By the way, morning Susan, if you're watching, lovely Susan, who comes to our workshops. She's been doing some homework and she's been using these little videos, these YouTube videos, and watching them and talking along to me. So Susan, I can hear you. And apparently she keeps telling me to slow down. So I do apologise if I talk too fast. Gotta be honest, it's because I'm so nervous. I get so worked up even about doing this. So silly. Right, favourite stamp, it's this meadow mushroom stamp. I love this stamp. But I'm just going to clean the edge. You know me, I'm a bit of a tink and I do tend to over ink. So I'll just clean the edge. Now I'm going to turn my design round just because I find it easier stamping this way. And I'm going to put this just off centre. My theory is, if I want it to be central, it has to be central. And I would have to make sure it was dead centre. If not, it would really annoy me. So I find it easier to offset it. And then it looks like it's supposed to be offset. Give it a good press. And also give it a few minutes, let the ink soak in. When you think your card already has got the colour box ink, it's got the brushos and it's got the water, and that's all in that card already. So it's quite full, it's like a sponge, and it's got quite a lot of product in there already. So do bear that in mind. It will take the ink longer to soak in with all this than it would over here where it's just the plain card. So let's lift that off. Oh, I do love this stamp. So that's what we've got so far. Now, what I want to use is, I've got these lovely fairy foragers and I don't use them very often. You know when you find that stamp set and you think, right, I need to use these. So there's 4 on here. So I'm just going to take them off. Because remember, you get the acetate. And what I was wondering is, there's one kneeling down and I'm just wondering if she would fit. Now I think she'll go lovely on that mushroom there. So let's get her. Put her on the block. And again, I'm going to do her in black. Give her a good ink. And again, I'm going to take, she's a small stamp, so I'm going to take her to the... And again, I've got ink around the edges here. So funny, when I watch Tracy do this, she gets ink there, but she's amazing. She manages to stamp and it doesn't come on a card. I'm afraid if I don't take this ink off, it would come on my card. And then I'd have to have a plan of how to get rid of it. I mean, there would be. I'd draw something in or, you know, but it's better if it's not there, so. Right. Let's have a go now. For this, you best like sitting quite over the top. It probably doesn't make good viewing, but this I'm doing this way. And I'm hoping, she says, I've actually placed her on top of the mushroom. Now, she's a silhouette, so give her a good couple of minutes. Let her soak in. Let's see. The house is really quiet today. Car's gone off down into the Midlands. He's so busy. I mean, I know we're on lockdown, but because he repairs analyzers, chemical analyzers, and a lot of them are in hospitals and laboratories. If there's a breakdown, obviously it's important to get that machine up and running again. So he's just been travelling here, there and everywhere. I mean, the beauty of it is the roads are quiet, but he's so busy, bless him. So there's just me doing this, chatting to you, and Eric, who's fast asleep. Took him on his walk this morning. We saw 2 rabbits and we heard the cock pheasant. We didn't see him today, we just heard him. Right, there we go. So, can you see that? So she's perched beautifully. If I'd misstamped and there was a space here, I would just draw the mushroom in a little bit more. But as it happens, we've just managed to get her perched beautifully there. Now, I think it would look nice with some foliage in here. So what I'm thinking of using is, I've got these fairy lanterns. And I'm thinking, again, bringing out the trusty acetate, I'm thinking I could put them almost looking like the lanterns and lighting the way. Now, if I stamp this here, for me, I don't like the way it comes down here. So this is where our trusty, not rusty, bit of copy paper is going to come in, because that is the shape of the gel press. So I'm going to go for black again. Ink up. Again, just clean that bit here that I've caught. Now, where should we have it? Should we have that one there? Again, give it a good press. What I'm probably going to do is do this stamp in here, I think, all in black. Although I may do a little bit behind in green. I have got a green Versa fine on my desk. Yeah, I think I'll just put another one behind it. Now, quite often we would use second generation and not ink up again, but because I've got quite a dark background, I'm thinking the second generation wouldn't really show up. So I'm thinking let's go there. So that's why I'm sticking with the black. You know me, I like to try and explain what I'm doing and why, just because then you understand the thought processes of my head, which I've got to be honest isn't probably always ideal. But now on this set we have got one that comes in the other way, and I'm thinking that's going to look good there. So I love these. I think in the garden, as you know, I love my garden, are they what I called as a child Chinese lanterns? I think so. And I'm sure in my head, well, I'm going to colour these orange, because in my head I think they're orange, but I don't know if that's just, it could just be in my head. So I must look it up and just have a check. And again, I'm not sure if the actual lantern bits are the flowers or if they're seed heads. But whatever they are, I do like them. So I think we'll just have one this side. I want a bit of an odd number. Yeah, I like that. So as you can see, we're starting to build up. Now for me, this bit here looks a bit flat. So what I'm going to do is bring in my fine liner, and I'm just going to add a little bit of just some grass here. And I'm just going to put a little bit of, as you can see, I'm not being particularly careful about it. Just, you see how that to me just finishes that area off there, doesn't it? Makes it look so much better. Now we need a little bit of foliage up here, so we'll take this again. Now what I'm wondering is, shall I come in with a bit of green? What I'm thinking is, with it being on the blue, I think the black might be too much. So with this swirl stamp here, you can tell I've used it with this copy paper before, can't you? I'm just going to add some of the green, and again just clean the edges of my stamp. Just clean that off. And then I'm just thinking here where I've got a space, it would look nice just to have. I don't want a lot. That's what I like about these lovely swirls. I just want, you see how it's something in the background. So if I ink it up again, clean it off. I know it's a bit of a pain cleaning this off, but you know what, if you're doing something, you want to do it well. Before now I've taken the shortcuts where I've thought, oh, I won't clean it this time, and I know it will just overstamp. So I just want to pop this here. And again, it's these little details that will make your card and your design look really good. See how even though I cleaned it, got a little bit there. So what I would do for that is ink it up again. Make sure I do get every bit off this time. And I'm just going to stamp over the top of it. Simple as that. It was bound to happen at some point, wasn't it? But it shows you, you know, this is what happens at home. It happens to all of us. So where I've just got a little bit of ink there, just going to add another stamp in. Not going to press quite as hard. Yeah, I like that. So, lid on. I'll put that to one side. I just think that's building up so well. Now, what I want to do is I could leave this like this, but I'm going to add some ink around the edge. I'm also going to add some colour. So I think we'll do the colour first. Move those little fairies out the way. I left them. I wasn't sure if I wanted to add another fairy, but I think it might distract. I think I might leave it with just one. Now I've got some ink tent pencils here. You could use your normal colouring pencils. And what I've gone for is a yellow, I've got a red and an orange. And what I want to do on my Chinese lanterns or fairy lanterns, I'm just going to add some red at the top, some red at the base. Now I'm going to do this quite quickly because I'm aware that, well, I always say we haven't got all day. I think at the minute we have, but then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add some yellow in the middle here. I'm working, you know, I was working 3 colours. Just for me, it's the best way. It's a bit of a cheat way, it's a bit of a quick way. What I do now is do the orange, and that I'm sort of blending as I'm colouring it in. The reason I do the orange last is I'm blending from that red into that yellow. So I very much use the way I teach blending with inks, I use it as a technique when I'm colouring in. And then what I'm going to do is I've got a brown, and I just want to add some deep brown at the base of the mushroom here. And then I've got almost like a beigey colour, and I'm going to add that to the top of the mushroom. And then because they're water reactive pencils, if you just had something like your Spectrum Noir pencils, you would leave it at this stage. But because these are water reactive, I'm just going to add a little bit of water just to blend them off a little. And I have got, obviously, it's quite funny because I'm not quite sure what you can see on the camera. I keep looking up. On my lap, I've got my Inky Binky here. So every time I bring my paintbrush out of the water, I just dab a little bit of the water off on my Inky Binky before I start painting. And the same with these. Just going to activate that lovely red and the orange. And I clean my brush in between. On the Chinese lanterns, I'm starting on the yellow and then working into the red. So I do the darkest colour last, so that the red doesn't overpower. So into the yellow, and then into the orange, and then into that deep red, and dragging the colour round, just to make them stand out a little bit more. Right, I'll put those to one side. Now, you could add a moon mask here, but for me, actually I wasn't going to, but this is one of those things where I'm thinking I might change my mind. Where's my moon mask? I didn't intend adding a moon mask on this, but actually I'm thinking it might just, the smaller one. Yeah, I'm thinking, sorry, changing my mind. So I'm going to go in for the blue. What I should do, let's have a bit of good practice here. A bit of copy paper. Let's just give it a blot in case there's anything wet there, because obviously we've just added water, haven't we, with the water reactive pencils. So let's pop the moon mask on. I think that'll just catch her. And I'm just going to go round. Now, I don't really want to come into this space here, so I'm going to try and be mindful there of not to come onto the white. Now, this might not show up much. I'm hoping it does, but we shall see. Let's have a little peel back. Yep. Bit more at the top. Move my fingers. Let's lift it up. Yeah. That's just giving enough. I didn't want it too bright. Pop the lid on there. Just while I'm dealing with her, I've got a nice silver gel pen. I'm just going to add that to her wings and her hair. And actually I'm just going to dot round the moon. It's all about building these layers up and adding these little effects. And the reason I'm doing this now is once I add ink around the edge, I don't want to smudge it. So for me, it's worth to just add these little bits now. We'll add a few little dots on those Chinese lanterns. And we'll add some little dots here. So, to the frame, I could, if you wanted, you could stamp a sentiment, black Sharpie line round, and that would be done. I like to blend colour around the edge, and again, it's just something I like to do. So I'm just going to grab myself a piece of folded kitchen roll to hold this with, and I'm going to go in for the two colours. A lot of the time, a lot of crafters just use one colour, just something I like to do, and I like to do the two colours, and I'm keeping it tone on tone. So I'm going to go for the green first. Now, I'm using a smoothie for this. You could use your blending tools, you could use your stencil brushes, whatever you're happiest with. But as always, I would recommend start blending in the corner where you want it the deepest colour. And here, my idea is I want to bring my blending in, so I've got almost a white halo around here. So I'm going to come in and leave about sort of 1 centimetre if I can all the way around. So start in the corner again. And let's see if we can get about 1 centimetre into the corner. It's quite funny, I'm expecting a delivery today. I've ordered some seeds and things for my garden, and I'm quite worried if we hear the doorbell go. Not quite sure how to pause this once it starts recording. So if I suddenly disappear and say whistle and talk amongst yourselves, you'll know I've just quickly run to answer the door. But I'm hoping I'll get this done before it comes. So all the way around, and then have a little look, and I'm just gonna sort of, not putting any more ink on, but I'm just sort of blending to try and just get that nice shape all the way around here. It's a good way of practicing your blending, this. So there we've got the green to that degree. Then we're going to come in with the blue. Lid on, always put your lid on. Try and keep up with your good housekeeping tips. Again, we're going to start in the corner, but we're not going to come in as far this time, probably about half as far. So we left about 1 centimetre there, so I'll try and leave about 1 centimetre here. And so I'm just catching the edge, and this will help frame it really nicely. So again, because I've gone to this corner now to ink up, I'm just going to come down this way. And then turn it round again into the corner. And then along here. Corner and down. Circular motions all the time. And then along the bottom just to match it up. Don't worry too much about your blending at this stage. I like that, I think that looks lovely. Because what we're going to do is we're going to get the script stamp, the sacred spells. And I want to add a little bit of stamping in the background. So what I'm going to do is just ink up gently. And make sure it's the right way round. I'm just going to put a little bit in the corner here. And then I'm just going to ink up the edge. Put a little bit in the edge. Top corner. And I'm literally going to work my way around the card, being mindful of just catching. This is where you have to be clever and work out. Make sure it's always the right way up. And I'm just gonna, I just need the bottom now, there. And that for me just helps frame all the way around. Last couple of things I'm going to do, and I'm just going to, with my fan brush, just going to add some little flicks of water. I just like that distressed look in this background here. Now, if this fan brush, if you remember, it's in my water pot, but I used it for my brushos, so the water is slightly blue, so I have got a tiny bit of brusho on this. So it should hopefully faux bleach it quite nicely and give us a nice effect in the background. I almost want this to look like a piece of background card that I've used. So if I lift that up, let's just clean this up a bit. So we're nearly done. last little thing, here I just think I'll add almost some little flowers, and what I'm going to do for that is, as you know, I'm totally besotted with Posca pens, and what I'm thinking is, I've got them just going for colours, so always give them a shake. I'm just going to add some little blue dots here, and these are going to be some blue flowers at the base here. And then what I'm thinking, to bring in the yellow that's on my Chinese lanterns, and again, it's all about keeping colours, and we did put yellow in the middle, didn't we? Thinking if I just add a few little yellow dots, and these will really show up with them being a Posca. They just, I mean, you can put these on paint, on ink. Don't want too many. Oh, let's just add a few here, just sort of around the base. In fact, I think I might add a few little blue ones. After all, we are talking fairies, aren't we? So just almost look like some little dots of magic. And then I've got my white Posca pen, and I'm just going to add some little white highlights here, and just on the top there where it would just catch. Little one there, little one there, and one there. And I think that is all we need to do today. If you want, what you could do is put your black Sharpie line round to finish it off. Obviously, I just want to let this carry on. I could dry this with a heat gun, but I love the effect if it's left to dry naturally. So what I will do, ladies, workshop ladies, I'll let it dry, put my black Sharpie line round, mount it on card, and put the finished picture on our workshop group. But for everybody else on this video, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you've had fun, I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope it inspires you to go and have a go. Again, maybe use different colour inks, different shape gel press, different stamps, but the main thing is just have a go. We all need to keep safe at the minute, keep ourselves busy, and keep crafting. Please take care, everybody. Much love and hugs. Bye.